Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, what's up? My name is vianney.strick. Thank you so much for being here. So as you can see by the title, today we're going to be doing the best and worst cream bronzers from the drugstore. I do have a series on my channel called like best and worst. I've done foundations, concealers, as well as cream and liquid blushes. So today I wanted to show you guys some cream bronzers and contour products that I tried from the drugstore, but I also swatched and applied on my face to give you guys the full review. So yeah, I hope that you guys find this video helpful, and I hope that you guys appreciate it and like it. If you do like this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to join my squad. Let's get into it. Alrighty guys, so that playlist of best of, I will put it up here and also down below if you guys want to see other best of videos. So not every company has a cream bronzer, but you can make makeup what you want it. So some of these are actually stick foundations, some of them are concealers, and some are cream bronzers. I just wanted to show you that there are different options at the drugstore, even if they're not marketed as cream bronzers. Alright, so let's just start out with some very similar and affordable products. So I do have two different like pen applicators. First, let's talk about this. So this is actually a pretty new product. This is actually the E.L.F. Cosmetics Flawless Brightening Concealer. It is only $5, and I do have the shade Deep 53W. Now, obviously, this is a concealer, but you can also use it to cream bronze or contour. I actually really like this because it looks really beautiful as a brightening concealer and as a cream bronzer. This is one of those formulas that is pigmented, but it's very easily blendable. Like, you're never gonna look too harsh. It does have that pigment punch, but it blends seamlessly. Something I also like about it is the pen applicator. It is a clicky pen, so you can be very precise with it. You can bronze all over, or you can be very precise with cream contouring. Since this is a concealer, there are a lot of different shades to choose from, and they also have different undertones. I really like that you can get something golden or warm or ashy. By the way, I will have a complete roundup at the end of the video of who I think should buy what and for what purpose. Next, we're going to talk about the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Beautiful Bronze. I accidentally got a shade that's definitely more for contouring for me. It's going to be way too dark. In the video, you'll probably see how muddy it looks, but that was completely my fault. These are actually great. Again, this is also a concealer, so there's going to be a lot of different shades to conceal and contour and bronze. This is like such a staple in the beauty community. It's so affordable. This is only $4.99, so around the same price as the E.L.F. one. This is actually a squeezy tube instead of a clicky pen, but it has the same brush tip applicator, so you can get very precise. Something that I like is that as a concealer for under your eyes, it is full coverage. So if you're looking for a cream bronzer that has a little bit of coverage in it, you're really gonna like this, and it's gonna last you a really long time because a little bit goes such a long way. Now, you guys saw how pigmented it was on my skin, and like I said, it probably looked muddy because of my fault, but it actually is very easy to blend out. So don't be afraid of it. Just start out small and like build it up. Okay, so let's move on to sticks. I have a couple sticks that I want to talk about. I think I want to start out with one that I actually didn't love very much. This is the LA Girl Velvet Bronzer Contour Stick. First thing I didn't love is the consistency. It is called velvet, but what I noticed is that it almost feels kind of like chalk when you're putting it on your skin, and you feel like you're getting a lot of pigment, but then it almost blends out into nothing. It is definitely a very velvety consistency, but it almost feels drying. If you do have dry skin, I don't recommend this. And if you do want to try it, I definitely think you have to build it up. If you prefer something that is matte and very faint, you might like this, but I definitely think that there's better ones at the drugstore. The color is interesting. I would use it as a blush, but this is actually a bronzer shade. It's called Suede. Now on the website, they do have blushes and highlighters of this stick. So if you have been looking for like a velvet formula for a blush, they do have that. But for the bronzers, there's only 3 different shades, and I definitely don't think it's like deep skin friendly. There's only 3 shades that would work for medium skin, and consider considering the pigmentation once you blend it out, I definitely don't think they would work for anyone darker than me, and I have a medium skin tone. This is just not my favorite. I think if you were going to do the LA Girl route, you should definitely get the Pro Concealer, in my opinion. Okay, moving on to a stick that I actually really do like, except it has a faulty cap. It keeps breaking on me. This is the third one that I've had, and it breaks every time. This is the Wet n Wild Makeup Stick Contour Stick. Now, even though the cap does break, I will say this stick has never dried out on me. I really like this because it's very, very pigmented, but it also blends out really well. This is one of those products that does pack the punch, but has a very easy blendability. This is one of my favorite go-to contour products from the drugstore, and it's also really affordable. This is only $4.49. I will say the shade range is not very good. There's only 3 contour shades and 3 highlight shades, and unfortunately this is actually the darkest one. It's called Where's Walnut. I really do like this. I think this would work for a lot of skin tones. I just don't know if there would be something for like very, very deep, but I can tell you that their shades would work for very fair to medium deep, depending on how much you actually diffuse it and blend it out. This is just a staple for me. If these shades work for you, I think this is like a really easy go-to product that you'll probably enjoy. They also have blushes. I reviewed the stick blush from Wet n Wild on the cream blushes video, the best and worst stuff, so if you're interested in that, go watch that video. I do want to say that the way I'm applying these products on camera are not always the same way I apply it when I'm doing my makeup. A lot of the times, like, I will actually just like dip my brush into it and build it up. The reason why I am putting it straight on my face is so that you can see the color. Because even though this is more about formula, I still want you to see the color, because in case you do like the color, then you can just get the one I have. And to switch it up, let's talk about a stick that I like, but I don't know if I would recommend too much. I recently tried this in a full face of Physicians formula, and I did say that I liked it because I do like it. I just don't know if I would recommend this one over all of these. So this is called the Physicians Formula Organic Wear Sculpting Bronzer with jojoba oil. I believe I got the shade Mocha. There's only 2 shades and there are no like shade names on the actual bottle, but looking at it online, I'm pretty sure I got the shade Mocha. So there's only this shade, which is a very like dark and cool tone, a little bit on the rosy side, and then there's a very warm shade called Toffee. Now, I do like this because it is pigmented, it blends well even on foundation. It's a good stick, like it's totally fine, except there's only 2 shades and it's $12, it's $11.99. So even though I do like it, and if you get it, I do think you will like it, I just know that those of you who would want to try it, you probably won't find a shade that you need, and you're paying like triple the price to all these other sticks that are also really good. So it's a good product. I just don't necessarily recommend it. I think you could do better for your money. All right, so let's switch a little bit of direction. I do have one double-ended contour stick. So this is called the Nyx Wonder Stick. I've actually had this for a long time. This is the highlight and contour stick. They do have a couple shades that actually have a highlight shade, but the one that I have, I guess maybe it's for deeper skin tones. So for me, it has more of a bronzer and a contour. I will say the bronzer side is very orange, probably because it's supposed to be like a corrector for deeper skin tones. But I will say, I've had this for years. It's probably expired, but it's still very creamy. And something that I like about it is that it blends out so easily, even on top of foundation. This is like the option that I have for you guys that I know for a fact that you will like if you prefer something a little bit more subtle. I really like that it has 2 shades, so you can do the brightening side if you want, or you can do it like me and get a darker shade to do like bronzing and contour. I like how precise it is because it is a smaller stick and it blends out very seamlessly. Now, if you do want a lot of pigment, you will have to build it up a little bit, but if that's the case, you should probably just try a different one of these products. This is more for the person that likes to have 2 different shades and likes to get pigment, but a little bit more natural. So I really do like this. I think it's great. It's lasted me forever. It is $12. I think if you were gonna pay $12 for a cream bronzer, I would rather get the NYX one over the Physicians Formula because you are getting 2 different shades. Overall, I do think it's a great product, but more for natural days. Alrighty, so let's move on to foundations because I do have a couple foundations that I personally use as cream bronzers and they work great because they're foundations. So first, let's talk about the Maybelline Fit Me Shine Free and Balance foundation. This is the stick foundation and it says combination skin. I'm not sure if there's different ones, but it says combination skin, and I do have the shade Coconut. I really like this. This is very creamy. It's one of the creamier products out of all of these. Obviously, it is a foundation, but when you do apply it, it just goes on so pigmented and so creamy, and it blends out so easy. This is actually one of my favorites of the stick kind because, like I said, it's just so easy to blend out. Since it is a foundation, it does give you a little bit of like a medium coverage. So on the Maybelline website, it is $8.99. This is more of the mid-range out of all of them. I think this is very recommendable because I think it would work for a lot of people. It's very creamy and blendable, but it's not greasy, especially because it's a foundation for combination skin, so it's not going to be very greasy. It blends out really well. I do really like it, and I do recommend it if you do want to pay $9, but if you want something similar, but it's out of your price range, I do have something that I like. Not as much as this one, but it's so comparable that it's also worth the money. It's just a lot cheaper, and that is the Wet n Wild version of it. It's the Wet n Wild Stick Foundation in the shade Almond. So I do really like this. The only reason why I said I didn't like it as much as the Maybelline one is because I just feel like the Maybelline one is a lot creamier and easy to blend out, but that doesn't mean that this isn't creamy or easy to blend out. That one is just easier to work with, but this is also very simple. I really like it. It's very pigmented. Again, it's a stick foundation, so you are going to get a little bit of that coverage, which is really nice when you're putting it on a bare face. Overall, it's a really good product, and it's only $6.49. And again, because it is a foundation, you have some shades to choose from. So I really like this. Again, if you're looking for something similar to the Fit Me, but you want to pay a couple dollars less, this is really good. If you are willing to pay a couple dollars more, I think it's worth it. The Maybelline has 0.32 ounces and the Wet n Wild has 0.42. So you are getting more bang for your buck. So if you don't mind a little bit of the creamy difference, just go ahead and get the Wet n Wild one, but they're both really good. All right, so I have 2 more for you guys, and they're actually pressed into pans. So I'm trying to give you guys a little bit of a variety. If you like more liquid with a pen or a stick or a foundation, now we're gonna talk about the ones where you actually dip your brush into it. So first, let's talk about the Milani one. This is actually also a foundation, but it works really good as a bronzer. So this is the Milani Cream to Powder Foundation, and I did get the shade Amber. Again, since this is a foundation, there's going to be a lot of shades to choose from and undertones. What I really like about it is that it's very, it's just easy to work with. Since it's a foundation, it's not going to be like super in your face. You can actually build it up, and I really like that because sometimes when you apply way too much cream bronzer or contour, you almost don't even know where to blend anymore because they get everywhere, kind of like the LA Girl one that I did all over my face. In stores, there's not very many shades, but like at Ulta, there are so many shades to choose from, and they do have a very dark cool tone one for very deep skin tones, as well as lighter ones as well. Something that I like about this as well is that it's a cream to powder. So not only does it set as a powder, but in my experience, it also works really well over powder. I actually brought this with me last weekend or over spring break, and I had a full face of makeup on all day, and I didn't feel like redoing my makeup, so at night I actually touched up a little bit of my makeup, and I reapplied this as my bronzer over like my foundation, powder, everything. Over all these powders, I reapplied it, and it didn't get splotchy. It didn't like disturb my foundation. It's really beautiful. This is one of those products that would be nice to like keep in your bag. This is what I'm wearing today. I did put this under the Fenty Beauty powder bronzer, but it creates such a beautiful base. I know it may be a little confusing to see people use cream bronzer and powder bronzer, but the thing about cream bronzer is that you're adding pigment to your face without adding like cakey powder, and it also it just creates such a solid base so that A, your bronzer doesn't fade, but also you don't need that much powder bronzer, because I feel like powder bronzer usually is like harder to build up in color, and with cream you just kind of get there quicker and with less product. This one is actually $10.99. I think a lot of you will really like this as well. And then the last product I want to talk about, I actually talked about a similar product from E.L.F. in my cream blushes video, and I just feel like the cream palettes from E.L.F. are so underrated. They're so good, and they're also like at the back you can like take off the pans. See how you could totally just like make your own? And the cool thing about it is that they are very affordable. So let me show you guys what it looks like on the face. I did show you guys some swatches of all the shades so that you could see. But on my face, I actually applied the bottom two, and I just mixed them together. I really like these because they don't really dry out. They're very pigmented, but they're not like super, super thick. And again, they're also buildable. You're not gonna get scared to put this on. I will say with the blushes that they have, they do pack more of a punch. But I also feel like with a cream bronzer contour, you can get heavy way too quickly. So I really like how you can build these up. They're very long lasting. They're not super dewy or super matte. They're more of a satin finish. And the coolest thing about it is that it's literally $8, which is awesome because you are getting 4 different cream products in a nice palette for $8. And again, if you do get the cream blush, you could like mix and match your palettes. I just feel like not a lot of people talk about this, and now that creams are very popular, I feel like we should talk about this because these products are really nice and they're very affordable, and I love E.L.F. So that is all the bronzers that I have for you guys. Obviously, I probably missed some, but the beauty of this series is that I will update these videos once there are more products to talk about. Let's do a quick roundup. Just last minute to see which one you need. If you like brush tip applicators that are very precise, but you want more of a natural finish, get the E.L.F. Brightening Concealer Pen. If you want a heavier, more pronounced contour bronze, definitely get the LA Girl Pro Concealer. If you guys want a quick, easy to apply foundation to bronze and contour with, Maybelline or Wet n Wild. Again, just a price difference. You do get more product in Wet n Wild, but the consistency is a little bit better in Maybelline, but you can't go wrong either way. If you like a double-ended stick that is very, very easy to blend out, but it also is a little bit lighter on the skin, try the Wonder Stick. Again, you can do it like me and get a deeper shade to get a bronzy shade, or do get it with the concealer shade if that's what you're into. If you like a cream that you can put your brush in, try any of these. If you're just looking for one shade, I'm sure you'll find it in the Milani, but if you prefer something that actually brightens, contours, and bronzes, try this one. They're both really good. You really can't go wrong with either. And then the two that are my least favorite, again, remember, Physicians Formula is pigmented. It blends out beautifully. It's just pricey, and there are 2 shades. If you find a shade that you like and it's in your price range, you will like the product. And the LA Girl Velvet, just remember this is very faint, very more powdery, and it's just not going to pack as much of a punch. But maybe if you're starting out and you don't like to wear too much makeup, this is an easy product to use. It just might not get you the pigment that you want. And then here are all the swatches. Hopefully this helps you guys out. Pause the video if you need to. I wanted to put them all together in case you are interested in the shade that I'm using. Hopefully this helps you as a reference of which one you should get. But just remember, there are other shades in all these products. All right, so that is it, guys. This look that I have, it's my everyday look. I will have that tutorial up for you guys next week, so watch out for that. But yeah, just remember, I will put the best and worst drugstore playlist down below, and let me know what other category you guys want. We could do brow products, mascara, we could do powder, whatever you guys want, comment it down below, and maybe I'll do your idea next. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.